All right. So the presidential election is tomorrow. So I thought it would be a fun idea to go through this electoral map and make some predictions on the swing states to kind of see where we land and kind of what I think the outcome will be based on a couple of different things here that I have pulled up. And I'll kind of be walking through each state and just making a prediction of whether Harris or Trump are going to win. Uh, Not anything super political, but just kind of going through the map and thinking about the dynamics of the race and the energy that's been taking place for the candidates there. So uh, we got 2070 to or 270 to win. This website pulled up. It lets you kind of just play around with the map here. So we're gonna go blue, red. We're gonna go pick the swing states, and I'll just kind of talk about it a little bit. So just off of that here, as you can see, this is currently where the race is at. This is a New York Times Siena College poll here, and you can see it has all the battleground states, the swing states listed here, and we can see kind of where we're at right now. Currently, Kamala Harris having the lead in most swing states, or kind of being tied. So definitely, this poll kind of has Kamala Harris winning, winning here. So we got Nevada 49 for Harris, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Georgia, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Pennsylvania here tied, and then Arizona with a 4 point lead for Donald Trump. All right, so I'm gonna pull this over here. We are just going to go through this map and start picking out our predictions here. So starting off with the Sun Belt, this area here, we are going to start off with the state of Nevada. And my prediction for Nevada is that Nevada is going to go to Harris. All right. So Nevada for Harris there. As we can look one more time here at that New York Times poll, Nevada is up 3 for Harris. And the reason why I think Nevada is going to go for Harris here is mostly based off of this gentleman here, John Ralston. John Ralston is a journalist out of Nevada that basically tracks early voting, polling, all these things in the state of Nevada. He is someone that is very well known for his coverage of Nevada politics. And he today came out with a kind of prediction. So he's been following the early vote pretty closely, and for a good part of the early vote recently, Republicans have been kind of in the lead in terms of turning in their ballots. The thing with Nevada is that it is a kind of you declare your party affiliation, and it also has automatic registration. So in some instances, if you don't declare your party affiliation, it just kind of makes you an undecided or unaffiliated type voter, right? So what he was seeing was that there were a lot of Republican ballots being turned in, but that didn't give a kind of whole picture in terms of the unaffiliated voters that were there, right? So what I mean by that is that basically we don't know the results of the election, but we know like how much Democratic ballots have been turned in, how much Republican ballots have been turned in, and how much unaffiliated ballots have been turned in. And so, what he has been saying here is that his prediction for Nevada right here is Harris 48.5% to Trump 48.2%. So he has Harris winning Nevada by 0.3%. So incredibly close. Um, Hard to tell, but Biden won Nevada. I believe Hillary Clinton won Nevada. I think Nevada will stay blue for the most part. And just to give this gentleman a little bit of credit here, he go and one of the reasons why a lot of people do follow his reporting is he writes, I've never missed a Nevada presidential call. I've botched races down ballot, but this one is the hardest since I started doing this. More on that below. So this is one of the reasons why a lot of journalists, a lot of people in politics follow John Ralston for coverage of Nevada, is that he has been relatively accurate. So it just gives him a lot of credibility to what could be happening in Nevada, and that's why I'm giving it to Harris here. Nevada going blue. Next up in the Sun Belt is Arizona. I think Arizona will go red here, and mostly it's kind of a vibes thing there. We can see here. Give me 1 second. Let me close this. It's messing up my switching here. Back to that New York Times Siena poll here. We got Arizona, Trump with a good 4%, which is not a lot, right? 4% lead there. Definitely showing some strength in Arizona for Trump. I don't have much analysis on Arizona in terms of why it's going for Trump, but what I will say, 4 points isn't a ton, and we know that Biden was able to pick up the state in 2020, so it's definitely a possibility that Arizona could go blue for Harris, and there are actually two reasons or two kind of indications of why it's possible. The first being that abortion referendum that's taking place. So in Arizona, there's a ballot measure that would solidify abortion rights in the state, and that is probably going to have a high amount of women that's going to get a high amount of women to turn out, right? Big women turnout is really important for Democrats, and they're kind of banking on it. So women tend to vote more than men in just pretty much in everything in every election. So it's very likely, it's very possible that Arizona could go blue. One reason being is that women are just a little bit more motivated to turn out because there is an abortion referendum. There's an abortion on the ballot, and that can help turn out for Democrats there in Arizona. Another indication that Arizona might go blue is here in the Senate race. You have Ruben Gallego versus Kari Lake. Kari Lake, very staunchly Trump-like Republican, very huge advocate for Donald Trump. She's a very unique character. If you know anything about Kari Lake, I think you should like look some of her speeches, some of her moments. She's very Trumpian, I guess. But here you have a poll, Gallego leading Kari Lake by 4 points here in Nevada, and that kind of just speaks to, I guess, the enthusiasm of Democrats in general. Having a 4 point lead in the Senate isn't necessarily super indicative of the presidential race, but if these numbers kind of just translate directly to the presidential race, I mean, that's really good for Harris there. So I still think I still think that Arizona is probably gonna stick red, and if Harris does win it, it's gonna be very tiny, probably. So for now, kind of just based on this poll and based on the Arizona energy, I'm gonna go Trump red for Arizona. Another thing to mention is that there's a lot of, and this has been kind of something that's been reported and talked about, is that there's been a lot of California transplants into the state of Arizona, which, I mean, as the population kind of grows and grows, it's possible that Harris can kind of pull out a win just like Biden did in Arizona. So we're going to keep Arizona red here. So we got Nevada, Arizona, we got that Sun Belt. And we're going to go over here to the Midwest. We got Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania. So these are probably the states that have gotten the most attention, the Midwest states, right here, especially Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is somewhere where both candidates have been bombarding with ads. There's just been ads after ads. If you happen to see any interviews of people that live in Pennsylvania, that's all they talk about. It's like they just want the ads to stop. So lots of attention being put in Pennsylvania, and rightfully so. I mean, 19 electoral votes to the 15 and 10 that Michigan and Wisconsin can provide. So that Midwest states here. These three are also referred to often as the blue wall, because they have historically voted for Democrats pretty consistently for a long time. So we can see here. All right, we have here. Right, okay, so this is a demonstration, a little bit of a year after year how these states have voted in presidential elections, right? So Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, 1992 blue, 96 blue, 2000 blue, '04 blue. We got Obama coming in 2008, and huge number. Well, yeah, really big numbers right there. 56 to 754 for that blue wall, really solid right there. 2012, same thing, really solid blue. And then 2016, Hillary Clinton, Trump is able to flip those 47, 47, 48. All three become red right there. And then Biden comes back in, turns these blue. So a lot of history behind those states going blue, right? And that's not necessarily the full story there, right? It's possible to see some of these might split, but for the most part, these states have a lot of Democratic leaning, Democratic support, and for that reason, and one other reason actually is hold up. One other reason is you got Iowa. You got Iowa right here. So you got Iowa, Wisconsin right there. Let me go back to this, close that. Right. So you got Iowa right next to Wisconsin. And Iowa is pretty much known for being, or it's been a very Republican state. It's been pretty consistently Republican for a good while, and Republicans have been winning the state with pretty solid numbers. And that being said, very recently, a Des Moines Register poll came out here, which is a very reputable source. The pollster being Ann Seltzer, someone that's just really known in the industry, has a lot of like a good reputation, has a good reputation in Iowa, similar to John Ralston in Nevada. People really look to these figures when they say something. It's because they know what they're talking about. They know their state. Same thing here. She has been a very accurate pollster in Iowa, usually getting it right on the dot or kind of 1 or 2 points around the actual outcome when she does her polling. So this poll was pretty surprising for a lot of people because it had Kamala Harris up 3 to Donald Trump's 44 here. So Kamala 47, Trump 44. That's pretty surprising because this is supposed to be a Donald Trump like lock-in state. No one's thinking about Iowa. The candidates themselves didn't go to Iowa, didn't throw ads in there. They weren't really fighting for the state. They thought it was going to go red, so neither candidate really went in there. So that's pretty surprising. So you have this kind of shock poll in Iowa that supports Kamala Harris, kind of almost more solidifying the idea that she's most likely going to win Wisconsin. And also going back to that history of the blue wall, that idea, it's most likely that she'll also win Michigan, right? And then if we go back to that New York Times Siena poll here, we know, right, we have Wisconsin. She's up by 2. Michigan is very tied. So that is a warning sign that it's kind of a red flag right there. So Michigan, very tied. But the way that the states have usually worked is that if Wisconsin goes blue, it's likely Michigan will go blue. So my prediction is that Wisconsin, Michigan will go blue. And then after that, Harris really just needs to win any one of these states. Because if she wins Pennsylvania, she wins the election. If she wins North Carolina, she wins the election. If she wins Georgia, she wins the election. Right? So we're going to skip Pennsylvania for now. Because I do think Pennsylvania is going to go blue, but we'll take a second there. What I think is more interesting are North Carolina and Georgia, especially North Carolina. So North Carolina is another one of those states that has kind of known for just being a Republican safe state. Definitely likely to go red. But I think my prediction is that North Carolina will go blue. And we can look here at that Siena poll does have North Carolina up for Harris here, 48 to 46. Still very close, but we can see here there is a history of Democrats having won the state in the past. 2008, obviously a long time ago. 2008, Obama winning. We have 2020, Biden losing, but losing by basically a percentage point, 49.93 to 48.59. So very, 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 very close. So 2008, Obama wins. 2012, he loses. 2016, Hillary loses North Carolina. And then 2020, Biden gets super close to winning it. Trump just squeezes it out there, but very, 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 very close. Very close. And one more thing for the state of North Carolina that is a good sign for Harris here is the gubernatorial race, the governor race in North Carolina has the Democratic candidate Josh Stein up 17 points in North Carolina. So similar to Kari Lake and Gallego in Arizona, there is a little bit of signs towards there being some Democratic excitement, some Democratic, at least some Democratic support for the state to go blue. If Stein wins by 17 points, it's pretty likely that Harris will win the state. If this poll is even if he wins by 10 points, which seems very likely, it's very likely that Harris wins the state there. So for that reason, I'm going North Carolina blue. I think Harris, and this will be the kind of shocking, this kind of be the surprise twist in this election. I think no one expects, or I guess it's been more likely this election, but usually you wouldn't expect North Carolina to go blue. But I think it will go blue. I think that's what I'm going for, just for funds here. All right. Next up, we got Georgia, Pennsylvania, and like I said, she doesn't even need to win Pennsylvania or Georgia. If she wins North Carolina, the election's over. 273 if that happens, right? In terms of Georgia, I think I'm going to keep Georgia red. I think it's unlikely that Democrats win Georgia. Just based off of the history of Georgia. Where's my history? Right here. So Georgia, 92 goes blue. 96, 2000, 2004, 2008, 2012, 2016, all red. With the margins closing in right here. Biden winning Georgia in 2020. That being said, very, very, very hard state to win, I think. Also, if with Florida right next to it. Florida keeps going more and more towards Republicans, having someone like the Ron DeSantis winning Florida with a really healthy margin there. It seems like in those kind of southern states, there's a good solid amount of support for Republicans there. So my guess, Georgia will stay red, which that's fine. And then going back to Pennsylvania, I do think just because of that blue wall dynamic, I do think Pennsylvania is going to go blue. And that ends up with Harris at 292 electoral votes to Trump's 246. So Harris winning the election. And for Pennsylvania, really the biggest sign there is essentially, at least in early data, has Democrats. So how these numbers break down across party lines at first glance seems to bode well for Democrats. Democratic returns outnumber Republican returns nearly 2-1 as of Monday morning. So Democrats have been returning their ballots in a 2-1 margin in the state of Pennsylvania, showing a lot of excitement for Democrats in Pennsylvania. Obviously, this isn't the whole story. Going back to that New York Times Siena poll, having Pennsylvania tied 48-48 right there. So it's very likely that this still goes red. But I mean, lots of leg room for Harris there. If Pennsylvania does go red, North Carolina has a good chance of going blue. Could be pretty unique. Even if she doesn't win North Carolina, Pennsylvania going blue, keeping the blue, keeping Nevada. She could still lose Nevada, and she'd be fine. She just needs to win Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania. That being said, lots of ways for Harris to win here. It's possible she wins Nevada, Arizona, keeps Georgia, North Carolina. There's been a lot of talk about her just absolutely having a sweep and winning in all of these. Just having North Carolina, Georgia, Arizona, Nevada. All these just winning those and Trump getting demolished. But we'll see what happens. And I think keeping my final predictions there, I think that's really where I land. And it's going to be fun to see what happens. And yeah, I'm excited to see what goes down tomorrow. Hopefully we can know what happens and it doesn't devolve into something more problematic there. But yeah, 292 Harris. That is my final vote there. Final prediction. Thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Good luck, good luck out there. Make good decisions, guys.